graduating this year. We have over 446 people graduating. That includes MScs, MPAs, MAs, BAs, and PhDs. And we have people graduating from 50 countries. So it's a very large, very diverse group cohort graduating this time. Wherever you are, or whatever time it is where you are watching, we'd like to congratulate you on this big day. We'd like to congratulate your family, your friends, your sponsors, those who've helped you to get through this particularly difficult year when we had the pandemic. And I hope that they are also watching now when we're celebrating your success. We'd be very pleased to have your comments. Please participate. You can add your comments on YouTube, or if you're watching on Zoom, please use the question and answer facility. And we will, in the meantime, we will be having speeches. We have someone from each of the departments of the school, and we will each say a few words on behalf of our departments, and then we will have the prize giving and then concluding remarks. So I would now like to hand over to my colleague, Dr. Teresa Capelos, who will be speaking on behalf of Pulses.
Thank you, Adrian. It is a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here on this really festive occasion for all of you. I'm here to acknowledge the undergraduate and graduate MA, MSc, and PhD students, as Adrian mentioned, for our Department of Politics and International Relations. There's 152 of you that are joining the world of post-academia today and maybe continuing to very interesting ventures. We have people from Albania, Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, China, Cyprus, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Egypt, Germany, Ghana, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Kazakhstan, Libya, Lithuania, the list goes on, Mozambique, the Netherlands, Pakistan, Peru, Portugal, Romania, Spain, Taiwan, Turkey, the USA, and the UK, a very international cohort, many time zones with so many life experiences, so many insights. And you've joined us the previous years and you helped us make a better department, understand the world of politics, its intricacies, brought in your own experiences, your own debates. Many of you did so well and we're so proud of you. You excelled in your studies. You're finishing off and starting new job opportunities, continuing to your PhD studies, or joining other universities on research posts. You were awarded prizes. You participated in political psychology conferences and political science conferences. Some of you went to Brussels before the lockdown when we could still travel. You visited the European Commission, the European Parliament. You met with alumni at the University of Birmingham in Brussels, at our office there. And you also had a specialist talk at the NATO headquarters on cybersecurity. It was such a fantastic trip. We heard so many good things from all of you. Then others participated in the international model NATO in February, and you went to Washington, D.C., where you won awards and prizes and certificates, including the best overall delegation representing us. So you made us so proud. How important is politics in our lives is really very unnecessary to explain to all of you, since all of you have gained so much knowledge the past few years and appreciation for the complexities of the political system, how people make decisions, how electoral offices change. You also leave us with a sound knowledge base, appreciation for concrete scientific academic thinking, understanding the puzzles of scientific inquiry, and you're all moving to fantastic challenges ahead. And we're so looking forward to continuing being part of your lives in any way that will come up in the future years. We've struggled together last year through the COVID pandemic. It was a challenge for all of us, learning how to do things online, learning how to be together while being apart, supporting each other, understanding each other, and growing through unprecedented experiences that none of us ever before thought that we would have to face. And here we are at the other side of it, all proud and happy. I want to thank you on behalf of all my colleagues and my department for being part of our Pulses experience. And I wanted to end with a little bit of a, you know, corny note, reading you from a fantastic book. These are not my words. These are the words of Dr. Seuss from the book, All the Places You Go. And I'm just going to read the beginning and a little bit of the end. But I think it launches you in such a wonderful way to your new adventures. It starts like this. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know. And you are the guy that will decide where to go. The book goes on. You will look up and down streets, look them over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not so good street. I'm going to skip a little bit further to the end. You will get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life is a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with a left. So be your name Baxburn or Bixie or Gray or Mordecai, Ali, Van Allen or Shay, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way. These are the lovely words I wanted to give to you. So I'm going to hand over now to Professor Vivian Lowndes at the Institute for Local Government Studies to say a few words. Vivian?
Thank you very much, Teresa. So I'm Vivian Lowndes, and I'm Professor of Public Policy in the Institute for Local Government Studies, or INLAGov as we call it. And we're one of the 3 departments in the School of Government. I'd like to start by offering my sincere congratulations to all the students graduating today. This is a massive achievement, particularly considering the challenges you've faced. In completing your degrees online, when face-to-face teaching ended in the spring, in conducting your dissertation research at a distance, which often meant shelving plans for in-person interviews or surveys, and instead switching to desk-based projects, often using creative online methods. And for our international students, your resilience in coping far away from your homes and families, combining the last part of your studies with the inevitable anxiety and homesickness that I know many of you faced. And I would especially like to congratulate those students graduating from the Institute of Local Government Studies, and to pass on my own very best wishes with those of my colleagues. We'd normally be with you in person in the Great Hall, processing as a platform party in our academic regalia, the caps, the gowns in many different colours. Unfortunately, we can't do that today, but I do have some flowers to perhaps offer a festive and celebratory air to my online talk. So we're sorry that we can't meet with you today and meet some of your friends and family also, but that in no way diminishes our enthusiasm for your success and our respect for your resilience. Every year we gain immense pleasure from welcoming a new cohort of students to INLAGov, and that was the same when you joined us. We work with students to pass through those stages that you'll now be familiar with. the inevitable bewilderment on arrival, or when, for our distant students, you first log in and get to know us online. The technical glitches with Canvas, I'm sure you remember them. Establishing a learning routine, getting to know your peers from many different countries in the way that Teresa explained. Developing a sense of passion for your subject, working hard on research and assignments, finally climbing the mountain of the dissertation and coming down the other side, enjoying the sense of satisfaction when you come down to earth. I would like to give a special call out to our part-time distance learning students who are graduating with a well-earned degree as a Master's in Public Administration. These are students who have combined their studies all through the programme with highly demanding professional roles as public managers. They've stayed up late at night, given up weekends and holidays to get through their modules and prepare their assignments whilst working. Your families and friends will be glad to know they can have you back now. Yes, a few people fall by the wayside on our distance learning programme. Of course, it's very demanding, and many of you will have taken short breaks at certain times in the programme to help you combine work and studies. But everyone who gets to the end of our distance MPA programme, they do it in some style. The dissertations produced on this programme are second to none. They are absolutely of the highest quality, and it's always a great pleasure for us to supervise them and to grade them. And I also want to give a call out for our full-time MSc students. A big congratulations to you for the way you adapted to master's level study. And for this cohort, everybody was coming to Birmingham from another country. So you all had to find your way around a new country, a new culture, a new sort of university, and a new pedagogy. You'll remember, as I do, the challenges you overcame in getting used to discussing issues in groups. Remember that? How we made you stand up, get out of your chair, move around the room, sit down with people you'd never met and talk about the issues. Remember the challenge of making presentations, not in your mother tongue, using different sorts of visual aids. And remember that word? You had to get to know how to critically review the literature. So many questions. What's critical review? And so many answers, and I hope productive discussions. But you all came through, and we hope you will remember your time in Birmingham with great affection. So I would like to wish you every success from both the programs, MPA and MSc. I'd like to wish you every success in moving on to new jobs, promotions in old jobs, new programs of study, and quite simply, new perspectives on the world. And while we are living through difficult times, no doubt about it, there are also positives. These are what I call the lockdown silver lining. And my family are fed up with me going on about the lockdown silver lining, but it does exist. It is there. If you've not experienced yet, reach out and try and grab it. We have all learnt to be more adaptable and patient, and that we can work in new ways. In my own role, I can attend a webinar in Australia in the morning, and then I can teach a class in Birmingham in the afternoon. How good is that? And we do these things as we are today, using the amazing technological platforms that are now second nature to us. And these new ways of working are giving us more time as well to spend with our friends and families, opportunities to try new activities outdoors, in nature, new sports, exercises, and just spending time being in the moment in perhaps ways that we didn't have time to do before. And also These new ways of working, studying, connecting, they've also helped us show us what's possible for more environmentally sustainable forms of work and leisure. So on that positive note, I would like to wish you all the very best for 2021 and the years ahead, and to thank you for studying at the University of Birmingham. You will now become our ambassadors for the future. Please stay in touch. I'd like to hand back now to Adrian, who this time is going to talk to us in his capacity as representing the International Development Department. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you, Professor Lowndes. Firstly, I'd like to start with an apology. I told many IDD students that I was confidently saying, don't worry, there will be a graduation. We will see you in December. And I was absolutely sure this was the case. And as we've learned, and as I'm sure you've learned, academics are not always very good at making predictions. So the graduation was not quite as I promised it, but I'm very glad that you've joined us today and we can see you now. One of my, I suppose if I think back on this unusual year, the impression, one of the most striking impressions I have is the last lecture. I think the day that literally just the day before the university was closing in March for the lockdown, I had two lectures which only a very small number of people came to, and it was quite a moving occasion. We turned out for this last lecture, just a few of us, and we didn't know what was going to happen after that. I had half a mind to bring the PowerPoint so that those of you who weren't there could now have the benefit of that lecture, but I think time will work against that. As Professor Lowndes was saying, the lockdown was a completely new experience, which at first we saw in negative terms. In IDD, we have always prided ourselves on the experience that students have of individual field research, usually in a third country, and also the collective field trips, which are often a highlight after the end of the teaching year. We do a collective field trips to different countries. And unfortunately, neither of those key experiences were actually possible this year, and a lot of people were very disappointed. But I think that from the experience of the lockdown, we got something else. One of the benefits you get from studying in our department or at Birmingham in general is that apart from the intellectual journey that you cover during the year quite intensively, is also the friendships, the networks that you create, which often last for the rest of your career. And I think the experience of the lockdown, particularly amongst international students, it promoted a kind of cohesion and friendship, which I think was perhaps even stronger than in most years. We often, it sounds rather sentimental, we often refer to, when you graduate from IDD, we usually say you're joining the IDD family. And I think that was particularly true this year. The family has grown by an unprecedented number this year. We had over 260 of you graduating from 31 countries. I won't name all the countries, but a very wide range of countries. We had a particularly large group this year from China. I think the biggest group from China we've ever received. And it was actually quite difficult because those students who left quickly at the beginning of the lockdown were able to get home. Many others couldn't. Many others actually waited for months. For quite a long time, they were in isolation with very little chance to actually go outside, with a lot of difficulties with travel, and the added anxiety, not just the anxiety of doing the dissertation, but the anxiety of travel arrangements, and also their families who are worried about them. And this actually went on, I think, for about 3 months. And then I think we were lucky only with the timing. The timing came just at the end of the teaching year, so you didn't lose your experience of teaching except maybe the last week. And the lockdown lifted when there was still time enough for you to travel around the UK and also to perhaps relax and talk to people and get on with your dissertations. So it was quite an extraordinary effort that went into dissertations, and the work was excellent. There were many excellent dissertations, even though people couldn't do the kind of field work which had been done in the past. They found ways around that, and there was a lot of creativity went into that. Many found it was a challenge because with all the uncertainty because of the pandemic, people were trying to find jobs. It was more difficult to find jobs, and people were trying to look earlier for jobs. So those of you who managed to get a job then had to work alongside doing your dissertation. And that was quite a challenge, but in the end, people were able to get through. I should mention, I think many of us have a particular debt of gratitude to the school wellbeing team, who were very understanding on the dissertation deadlines, and that was much appreciated. I should also mention I think the learning to cope with the lockdown was an excellent experience. Even some students even were NHS volunteered. Several of our international students were actively involved in NHS volunteering, as were indeed our UK students. And I think we're very proud that you got through this year and in such style. There's one person I should mention. Normally we pick out cases of people who have succeeded against great difficulties. Now, I would say this year, I think the whole cohort really deserves mention for that, for succeeding in the face of what would have been seen as insurmountable difficulties. But there's one particular person I'd like to mention, my PhD student, Paul Lewis, who has suffered from quite serious health problems for a number of years, completed and passed his PhD this year at the age of 80. And I think the determination that he put into that, I think really is something which I think was shared across the whole course. That kind of determination, that willingness to succeed at all costs, I think Paul typified it, and I think it was typical of our whole cohort. So well done, everybody. We're very proud of you. I'd now like to hand over to Vida Costa, our student representative, to say a few words.
Hello, everyone. It's a real honor to have the opportunity to address you all today. My name is Vida Costa, and I'm graduating with an MSc in Environment, Development, and Politics from the International Development Department. I was a student representative in my department and the blog officer for the International Development Society. Despite the fact that this is not an in-person graduation and we're not all tearfully taking selfies in Aston Webb, to me this is nonetheless a joyous occasion because we do have a lot to celebrate. This has not been an easy year to be a student or just a person, and it is tempting to let the constant stream of sad news lead us to cynicism and negativity. However, now that the year is coming to a close, I would like us to end on a high note and to reflect on all the things we have to be grateful for. I, for one, am grateful to be here today, celebrating my friends and myself and all the hard work that we did this past year. My course has given me an insight into the wonderful diversity and intricacies of our global community. International development is full of stories of inspiring advancements in human rights, passionate fights for equality and justice, and overwhelming efforts to help individuals and communities lead better, more meaningful, and easier lives than their predecessors. However, my degree has also educated me on the unspeakable cruelty many of our fellow humans have faced and continue to face. Colonial legacies, rife inequalities, environmental degradation, and deficient institutions are just a few of the myriad challenges facing our global community. I was asked to think of what I would wish for my cohort going forward. I know some of you know me only in passing, if at all, but please allow me to offer you some advice going forward. Or rather, it is my biggest wish for you, that you lead with empathy and stay curious. In today's world, a good leader leads with empathy. Empathy allows one to respect the agency and diversity of opinion of those one works with. The challenges we face are considerable, and as this past year has shown us, life can throw us many curveballs. However, if 2020 can teach us anything, it is that we have the potential and the ability to rise above challenges we face, as long as we stick together. Empathy and curiosity are key skills in this effort. No matter how old you get, or how educated you are, or how convinced you are of what you believe in, I hope you hold on to a sense of curiosity and open-mindedness when faced with something new or different. Remember why you did your degree in the first place. Everyone I met this year has a little bit of that "I want to change the world" attitude. Empathy doesn't compromise this. It doesn't mean you have to compromise your beliefs. It just means you recognize the humanity of those who are different from you. Importantly, learn to focus empathy inwards. Do not let yourself become too proud to admit you don't know something, that you are wrong, that there is something you do not understand. Take time to be kind to yourself as well in the face of difficulty or when something doesn't go as planned. Remember, empathy is strength. While we have learned a lot during our time at the University of Birmingham, there is much we are yet to learn. And I, for one, am excited by the prospect of continuing to challenge and expand my knowledge. So while today is a day to celebrate our achievements, it is also a reminder that the real work is only beginning. I know you will all change the world in your own way. I have met some of the most talented and hardworking people I have ever known during my time here, who approach all they do with so much passion. I really believe in us, and I know in my heart of hearts that we will go on to do amazing things. But before we do that, I would like to thank the department, who had a very difficult year and have handled it brilliantly. I trust that they have done all work humanly possible to keep things going. None of the things we as students had to get used to would have been manageable without your support, and I'm very grateful to you. I'm also grateful for the amazing teaching staff on my modules, whether you were there for one module or 10 lectures. I'm grateful to Carrie, our amazing student experience officer, for all of her hard work, as well as the numerous other support staff, such as the Wellbeing Office, who shaped our university experience. So thank you all very much for listening, and have a very merry holiday and good luck. And I would now like to hand back to Dr. Adrian Campbell. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vida. And now I have the pleasure of presenting prizes. It always seems slightly wrong to single out students for prizes when all of you have done so well, but there are the prize winners have achieved such exceptionally high standards that it is a pleasure to honor them. The first prize is the A.H. Marshall Prize, which is awarded to the student with the highest overall mark for a master's degree in the Department of Local Government and International Development. And this year that goes to Anna Wilshire. The Elvis Govender Prize is awarded to the student with the highest overall score on the MA International Relations Diplomacy Programme. And this year it goes to Brianna West. The J.D. Armstrong Prize is awarded to the student with the highest overall mark in a master's degree in political science and international studies. And this year it goes to Benjamin Skelton. The Public Management Research Prize is awarded to the student who graduates with an MSc with a distinction, has the highest dissertation mark on the MBA Public Service, MSc Public Management, or MSc Local Policy and Politics program. And this year it goes to Gemma Louise Carmichael. And finally, the Malcolm Norris Prize, which is awarded to the student with the highest overall mark on the MSc in Development Management programs and pathways, or the Masters in Public Administration program. And this year it goes to Caroline Payne. Congratulations to the prize winners, The work to gain a prize, you have to do really outstanding work. We have, particularly on the dissertations, the standard is extremely high. And I say it's a great pleasure to recognize that the kind of outstanding achievement and dedication shown by the prize winners. But also we'd like to congratulate all of you, those of you who are runners-up for prizes, and those of you who have graduated from our programs. We hope that you've enjoyed your experience at Birmingham. Your name and the University of Birmingham are now linked for the rest of your lives. You are part of our growing alumni, worldwide global alumni community. We hope that you will keep in touch with us. We hope that what you learned, what you studied, will still inspire you and inform you in your future careers. We wish you success in whatever you are doing now, whether you are now working or having a well-earned rest, or whether you are going on to further study. We wish you every success, and we hope that you will look back, you will keep in touch with us and look back fondly on your time in Birmingham. And that brings us to the end of this graduation celebration. Just to repeat, we are all very proud of you. We want to congratulate you for your achievement, and we hope that you will always regard Birmingham, the University of Birmingham, as your home. Thank you. Goodbye.